Oh, Roy. Hello. Is everyone there? I'm not British for real. I'm just playing. All right. So basically, it's like three things I really wanted to speak on as far as my work that I feel like everybody that watched me paint needs to know. So primarily, like everything you hear that you see, it may look like it's just surface, but everything got like depth to it. It's a meaning behind everything. And I paint for people who are like thoughtful, you know. So if you're not thoughtful, you don't really like care to think about stuff as much. It's not gonna be the same kind of experience for you. You feel me? It's like the more you look into it, the more you'll understand. But if you're just looking at it for what it is, it's gonna be kind of hard to get the picture, you know. So I'm not a formally trained painter or artist, so just because it don't look as sophisticated or traditional, what most people think about when they see art, don't mean it's not meaningful. I always got intention with everything I create, so that's something to keep in mind. So with all of this, I feel like I should just start with how I started painting. I was talking earlier, and it's like, I don't mean to exaggerate when I say this, but my whole life I've been a creative. I've always drawn or painted or did something extra with my time. Like I literally can remember from 5 years old drawing Teen Titans, like redrawing everything I seen. And so art has always been this, it's like this creative, it's impulsive. Like nobody has to tell me to do this. I just do it. And growing up, I didn't grow into realizing that that's what I do until I was like 15, because I had hoop dreams before anything else. And so my thing was just always, oh, I'm gonna be in the NBA, oh, I'm gonna be a ball player, But like getting up to practice was like the hardest thing ever for me. Even with competition, like I'm not 6'7", so it's like, it's kind of hard to compete with people that's taller than you, faster than you, stronger than you. I also have asthma too, so just like this whole comparison thing for me, it was like, man, what really makes sense with what I should do in my time? And I was like, I watched this YouTube video and it was basically like, what would you do for free? What do you do for free? And I had this realization, like everything I ever did was with art that was for free. Like I used to draw all my homies' mixtape covers, they clothes, everything, and it was just like, this makes a lot more sense for me to do something with than what I was trying to do. And so I didn't realize that till about 17. And that's also when I painted for the first time, like with a canvas. Because before, you know, there was paint, but it wasn't on the canvas. I used to spray paint, just tagging pretty much anything, which is a very reckless decision at that age. Like, I don't recommend that for anybody, but that's how I started, and that's what I was familiar with. I never knew there was a traditional space for art to be in. Like, I didn't go to a gallery till I was about a teenager. I didn't realize it was like actual spaces for this kind of stuff, because everything I seen was either graffiti on a train, on a wall, murals, stuff on cars. Like, that's what I grew up seeing, and so it was natural for me to start doing that. But the more I got exposed to other people doing it as well and start seeing things, it kind of like opened my mind to try and be a artist, I guess you could say, that don't get in trouble for painting or do things that they love. And yeah, what else did I want to share? As I said before, like everything has a meaning. I would like to dive specifically into that meaning I can't talk about every piece because it's a lot of paintings, but it's a general theme in all of my art. And I'm really obsessed with death as an artist. I feel like anybody that's an artist, it's easier to confront stuff like that because you create. It's not a problem to be in tune with your emotions or your thoughts. But again, like for people that's not thoughtful, it's hard to think about things you don't want to think about. And so I make art about things a lot of people don't want to think about. So I mean, just be prepared for that in mind as you looking around. I really like to talk about natural things for everybody as people. Like, no matter who you are, everybody is going to experience the same things in one way or another. Like, I don't personally know everybody in this room, but I know everybody in this room has suffered something. Like, from the greatest to the least, everybody's felt pain. Everybody experiences death, the loss of a loved one, or is going to die. Like, everybody in this room, we're not gonna be here 100 years from now, realistically. And so I like for people to think about that stuff as opposed to just looking at it and being like, oh, that's nice, or oh, this is a nice image. I mean, it could be nice, but my goal as an artist is to make you think. Like, we get filled with so many things that are not, they basically numb you. You feel me? You're not really thinking about it when you're scrolling on your phone, or, you know, somebody sends you something. Is it like really adding to you as a person? And I think that's crossed every medium. I think about every song I've listened to, every artist that I love. I love their music because it inspires me to want to be a different person or to do something positive with myself. And so I try to do that with what I create instead of just making, I would say, stuff everybody likes or that they're comfortable with. But yeah, I think that anybody that is open-minded to asking questions to yourself as you look is what's most important to me. Like, thank you for coming, thank you for being here, but really sit with yourself in your head and ask yourself, what does this mean? What does this mean for me? What does this mean, like, at all? And when you see that and you see what I'm painting, know that I'm not talking at you. I'm not telling you this is the right answer or this is the right thought to have or this. I'm not telling you that. I'm just talking out loud. You feel me? Anybody that has this conversation with themselves or that you feel like you can have with another person is what I aim for. Like, this is a whole collective experience. You know, it's not just, it's more than art to me. Like, these are my thoughts. This is my emotions. Like, if you don't know me, this is what you would get out of a conversation with me. Like, this is literally, this is what I talk about. This is what I think about. And so, yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. What is this? But, yeah, I'm gonna pause for a second, and I'm gonna let anybody ask any questions if they have any questions. And if not, I will continue. And then I don't want to talk too much longer. Like, I'm uncomfortable at the moment because I'm still talking. Like, so if anybody has any questions or anything like that, you feel free to ask them now. Make up a question, that'd be nice too, or just like anything, because at some point I'm gonna be done talking, so you can look at everything. Yes.
You mentioned music. Do you listen to music while you work, and if so, what kind?
That's tough. So, like, I feel like I gotta listen to get me started, because like I could hear a song and it inspire me to create. But I find myself, if I listen to too much music, I'm listening to music more than I'm creating. Because then be like, dang, this song good. And like an hour that went by, I'm like, dang, I ain't did nothing. So either to get me started or when I'm in the zone, I could cut music back on. Because I'm not really thinking about what I'm listening to, I'm just making something. But yeah, that's that.
What kind?
All right. Don't think I'm weird when I say this, but like I listen to everything. Like I listen to classical music while I'm painting. I listen to EDM. I listen to rap. I listen to R&B. I listen to anything, especially stuff that I have not been exposed to before. Because I feel like even in painting, if you see something you've never seen painted before or a style you've never seen painted before, it opens your mind in a different way to stuff that you can create. Like, for example, I couldn't experience or be grateful for classical art until I went to the museum and saw this is how people used to paint in the 1700s. And so it made me want to take even if I couldn't get it exact components from what they was doing to try and put it in my art. You feel me? And I feel the same way about music. I can't be inspired if I don't open myself to something new. So, yeah.
I really love this painting here. It seems a bit softer than the others that you have displayed. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Okay, so this piece, it's already spoken for. That one is not for sale, unfortunately, but when I created it, it was specifically to convey something I don't usually do. Like, a lot of my art is, I won't even say negative, but like I said before, it's not something you want to think about, you know, but this one is more uplifting, and it's about freedom, you feel me? And I associate like the sky and the clouds with that kind of freedom. And so this is more so about being joyful and happy and feeling something other than pain and being free from that. And so that's why I've had a few people tell me already, like, this one looks more full in a sense. And it's because it is. I think, having peace is fullness. So, that's why I created that one.
I got a question. How many pieces might you have going, like, in process
So it just depends. It depends on what I'm painting with and what I'm doing. But I'll say, because I can give you an example. This one, that one, that one. Everything on this wall was painted at the same time except that bottom left one. But all of those were created in one sitting. Like, everything right there. I did go over that big one a few times separately, but if you can look, like, the spray paint and the patterns and the words and everything is across each canvas. If you was to hold them up together, you would see, oh, you did all this at one time. So for that one, I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe more sometimes. When I did my residency, my first day, I did like 5 in one sitting. Like, I just like painting like that. I think I figured out that was okay when, I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Jean-Michel Basquiat, but that's an artist that like definitely inspires me. Found something else to talk about. I looked at the archives of his videos of him painting, and he used to paint like these big, like bigger than this, 4 and 5 at a time, and just be splashing paint everywhere. And I'm like, bro, I gotta do that. And so I did that. So this is more recent. Before I used to do 1 by 1s, each one at a time. And I'm like, man, I feel like I can be creating more. And that's what that did for me.
How long is a sitting for you, typically? Range?
If I range, it depends on how big the pieces are. Because if you paint, this is the true statement. Half of the time that you painting, you're not really painting. You watching paint dry. Like,
Yeah.
you're not painting that entire time. You letting paint dry. So I'll go over this in one sitting. That'd be like an hour. But I'm waiting an hour or 2 for all the paint to dry. And so I switch to another one, and so on and so forth. So I say about, if I'm doing 3 to 5 pieces, it take me 3 hours to get like that first layer on everything. But yeah.
Which one of your pieces has your favorite meaning?
Ooh, that's good. All right, so anybody that like seen my posters or my cards know that I put this piece right here on the front. That one had the most significant meaning to me because I knew exactly what I was feeling when I was painting it at the time. And it was like, I don't like feeling afraid. I don't like feeling sad. And so it was more about breaking out of that and not being conquered by your fears or your thoughts about what other people think about you or things you feel like you can't control. And so that whole piece for me is like very personal in that sense of just like being free from myself, you feel me, and not like being self-destructive. And so like, as far as meaning go, that's my favorite piece right there.
Jay, which one is your favorite piece?
This one right here.
Right here?
It's called God Will Rise. And on the back there is a poem. And the poem is like, it's basically a loop of everything that's in the painting. I wrote it on the front too, but it's covered by the art. But yeah.
Do you have a specific way of like documenting things that inspire you when you're just out in the world and like not painting? Like if you just go somewhere and you find something like, oh, that's cool, I should like take a mental note of that. Do you document things in a certain way?
So if I ain't got my phone on me, or if I got like, let me say if I got some paper on me, I'll draw it right then and there. But if I don't in my phone, I'll draw it in my phone or I'll take a picture of it. Or even sometimes like I'll remember it later on and take a screenshot or something like that. But the things that inspire me in real life, it'd be so weird because it's like, as an artist, you can get inspired by anything. Like I'll be walking down the street and see somebody with a, how do I say this? Respectfully, not ugly, but a very distinct face. And I'll be like, dang, I want to draw you now. And it's like, I get inspired by a lot of stuff like out the blue. It don't even have nothing to do with art sometimes. Like a lady could walk past this window with a super yellow dress on, and now my next 21 paintings is just all yellow. And it's like, little stuff like that it's very productive for me. Yep.
Well, today is January 4th, a very new year.
Yep.
Okay, so do you have any plan for this new year, in short term and long term, in your life of fine art?
So specifically for art, I want to take a transition more into like that physical digital space, because everybody that I know is an artist, or even like if you just look at the progression as time goes, everything evolves. Like music evolved from what it was when we didn't have phones. And art is evolving now that everybody has like this technology to be seen. And so it's going to keep growing into something different. So my plan is to find my way into that digital era that art is entering, but to also develop myself more physically as far as like my skill, meeting people, things of that nature. So like being in them two spaces is really my goal this year, and establishing myself as an artist. I feel like everybody's an artist that creates, but it's like something different to be a professional artist and make money from what you do. And so I want to focus more so on that aspect of being an artist this year. Yeah. Speaking of that, somebody asked me a question earlier about the prices. So as an artist, it's so romantic. Like you romanticize everything. Everybody had this stage as an artist of being like, oh no, I don't want to sell my work. I just want to create for myself, or create this or create that, because it's like, it's a deeply personal thing. And I respect that. A lot of my pieces are personal, but it's also like being realistic with yourself about what you think people will pay for, but also the time and attention you put into it. Like it's a disservice to yourself to spend all your resources on creating these things and not reap the benefit from it, you know? So I feel like out of self-respect for myself as an artist, and just out of the quality of work I put at and the quantity, that my prices are a bare minimum of the few $100 mark, because like I took time out of my life, my however many years I get, to be like, I'm gonna pour my soul into this. And so it's important to me. So yeah. I would like to say one more thing though, as far as inspiration. Somebody asked me something earlier about music. I feel concerning art, this may sound strange because my painting style, but I take a lot from people that do more surrealism than anything. I don't know how many people in the room are familiar with Salvador Dali, but he's like a once in a lifetime artist. I went to the St. Petersburg Museum in Florida, and it's like, bro is painting paintings bigger than buildings. Like, I'm not trying to over exaggerate, like I'm dead serious, like building type. And I'm like, even though I don't paint how he paints in his style, the scale, you feel me? He really inspired me as far as scale with things I want to do. And then even Liz, Liz bought me one canvas. She was like, yep, the rest of your paintings is big from now on. I'm like, okay. And so from then, it's just been like trying to upload on my scale. And I think as far as my style, I try to maintain that kind of street culture style with what I create because that's what I'm familiar with. That's how all of this started. So I always try and keep, spray paint, tags, throwies. I keep something in there to be original to myself and what I created. And my art don't have no distinct style. Like I can't put my finger on it and say, oh, it looked like this person work, or oh, it looked like that person work. And I like to maintain that because, if I'm not gonna be me, who else I'm gonna be? Like, so that's as far as my inspiration goes. And also Basquiat, obviously, I said his name earlier, but I respect him on the level of like how he did business as an artist. Cause I didn't grow up in the 80s or 90s. I'm 20, I was born in 2003. And I went from whatever age I first started listening to, like music from the 2000s talked about Basquiat. And then even people now talk about Basquiat. That's like 2 generations of people talking about you, and you've been gone for 40 years? And just to see somebody have that impact and be an artist is like, that's what I aim to be. Like, I want my work to have people inspired long when I'm gone, right? So it's just different aspects of inspiration for different people.
Which one is your darkest piece?
That one.
What's the meaning?
So the title is called Orlando Rain, or you could, the slash, there's a slash in there because I like long titles, or it's called Slave de Mort. So in Mort in French is basically death. So like slave of death. And the closer you look, it's like, what is all of this? But when you stand back further enough, and I think everybody further enough, but so there's a mouth. There's a very large mouth. And that person basically represents death. And there's like all of these chaotic thoughts and emotions going on in this person at the bottom, this blue. So much to the point that like they've taken their life. And all of those beautiful colors it's brain splatter. It's nothing else. It's brain splatter. But within it, there's like flowers and color and life. Depicting that even in this dark state of mind this person was in, they had beautiful thoughts. They had beautiful things going on in them. But, it's never a good thing when people die, so to look at it and it be colorful is kind of confusing. And I did that intentionally, so that's my darkest piece.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. You good?
I have a question.
Mhm.
So why death? Is it because you've experienced it, or are you just thoughtful about it? Or are you thinking about it, preparing for it? Why do you spend a lot of time thinking about that?
I think like nobody is immune to that.
Right.
And if you talk to a lot of people, you ask them a question about what you think about, like, are you prepared for that? A lot of people like to skip over that conversation and wait till they get to that point. And a lot of people don't have time when they get to that point to sit their family down and be like, hey, this is what I want to happen, or this is what I was feeling, or this is what I was thinking, or this is the kind of life I lived, I regret this, like things of that nature. And so it's like, part of being provocative, being an artist is being provocative. And I think about that a lot because I'm gonna die one day. And I always tell people that's important to me this. There was my uncle, was probably like the most important person to me in my life. I lost him in 2019. I think about that man every single day, right? He's gone, he's been gone. And so to have that kind of impact on a person 5 years later and you're not even breathing no more, I think it's important for me to be careful with the life I've been given and the things he taught me. And he always taught me, like, hey, be prepared for when you die. Like, it's a wrap. Like, there's no more times after this. So that's a thought I constantly have. I can't say I think of a day where I don't think about me leaving Earth in a good way or in a bad way. You feel me? So, yeah. Awkward silence. Do-do-do, do-do-do.
We can put music back on.
We can't. Can we get it started though? Can we get it started? Can we get it started? Okay. All right. I don't have anything more to say. Nobody else got no questions. I don't want to sit quiet too long. You good? Good. All right. We can get it started. Thank y'all for coming.